this is my AP Calculus final project. So I'm going to talk about the do's and don'ts of calculus for those of you who may want to take AP Calculus. Some tips and advice. And I'm going to start with the do's. So I would say as a major do is do take the free response assignments seriously. And I definitely did, but I did more calculus. I didn't the entire year, which I should have, and try to do them like as much as you can by yourself. The answers are right there, so it's kind of tempting to just copy, but try to do as much as you can by yourself because, and of course correct your answers, but this is going to be really, really helpful for you because free response is half of the test, and if you get everything right, you automatically get a 4. Like, it's a pretty big deal. And if you can be working on it and up to the time, then you're going to be a lot more comfortable with it. It's also going to make it a lot easier to learn the topics when you come up to them, even if you've been working on free response for a topic you haven't learned yet. Try to do the web assigned the day that it's assigned, and this is hard because, of course, if you have a couple days, you are going to want to do it on the last day, but a lot of times it's something that's really hard, and you're going to want to ask questions, and you're not going to have any time. So I think that it's a really good idea to at least start, or at least do half of the web assign, just so you can make sure you know what you're doing in case you need to ask questions. Okay, I would say knowing yourself, and this applies to every single class, but I'm going to use a personal example. So the amount of calculus that I learn is inversely related to how far I'm sitting from the teacher. Is that right? Is inversely related to how many people are sitting in between me and the board. And what I mean by that is the closer I am to the teacher, the more I pay attention. So I know that about myself. So ask for help. And this applies for every class, but especially for calculus. This isn't Algebra 2, where you can just go home and figure it out using the textbook or something. It's important to ask the teacher for help. And you may feel like it's a stupid question because you don't understand everything and everyone else must be getting this, but honestly, probably no one else gets it either. So it's okay to just ask for help. Having said that you do need to ask your teacher for help, it's also important to know that there are online resources that you can take advantage of. YouTube is a really good source. You can just Google a topic or YouTube a topic, and a helpful video will pop up. Patrick JMT is a great source. Mr. Comparativo will give you sources to use too, if you ask him. I wouldn't recommend Khan Academy because it's more concepts and less like good examples that you're going to need, but you know, knock yourself out or whatever. Make sure you can do everything with and without your calculator, because the multiple choice is split up into half calculator and half non. And so, as important as it is to know how to do everything without your calculator, it's also important to know how to do everything with your calculator to maximize your time and maximize your usage. There's also some things that you're not allowed to do on your calculator, or not able to do on your calculator during the test, so make sure you know those too, and you're familiar with what you can and cannot do. Okay, this last tip is more general. It's good to keep in mind why you're taking AP Calculus, because it's a hard class and it can take away from your personal life. Excuse me. Your personal life a lot, and I don't mean that like oh, you're a nerd now and you don't have time for anything else, but I kind of do mean it like that. I used to joke that AP Calculus was my husband, and whenever I would like do something out instead of studying or instead of doing my homework, I was like cheating on AP Calculus. But anyway, so it can get kind of like discouraging sometimes too, so it's good to keep in mind why you're doing this. And if you need help, you can just Google reasons to take AP Calculus. But here's some. If you get credit for calculus in college, if you want to go into like a math or science major, then this could get you out of an entire class and like move you ahead and get you credits. And if you're not doing a math or science major, this might be the last math class you take if you get a good score on your test. It also looks really good to colleges, no matter whether you pass the test or not, because you don't even find out till you're already accepted. It looks really good to colleges. They know that you want to take risks and that you believe in yourself, that you can do hard stuff, that you're a hardworking student, you're dedicated. So, also it's a good experience to try something that's really hard for you and to know what it feels like to push yourself at something and like make it happen, you know? Like I was really struggling in calculus, and well, that might be the first class that I've really struggled in, you know? And it was a good experience. It was good to know what it's like to be bad at something and to have to work extra hard and to not just, you know, not just be able to pass by paying attention in class, like to have to do the extra work, to have to put in the extra time. So, yeah, those are the do's. Don't get discouraged. AP Calculus is probably the hardest course you're going to take in high school. I don't know, unless math is super easy for you, but then, okay, whatever. And you might not do super amazing right away, and that's okay. Everyone is pretty much failing for the first 2 months. In fact, everyone is pretty much failing at the beginning of every single quarter, because that's like before all the homeworks and extra credits kick in to bring your grade up. But I promise you, as long as you do all of the homework and you do all of the extra credits, you will be fine, even if you're failing the tests, because honestly, everyone fails them. Okay, don't only do the web assign. And this is different than most other classes, at least it was for me, because like I said earlier, I'm used to only having to do, whatever's in the class, but for this class, you need to do the extra practice. You need to work on your own time. You need to look up videos and try to understand concepts better, because it's a lot to take in just in a class period, It's a lot to take in just in the half an hour to 45 minutes that it should take you to do your web assign. And what web assign isn't even directly based on the test. So you need to be doing the extra practices. You need to be following along with the purple book and the green book all the way through. I would say follow along in the purple book from the very first, because Mr. Comparativo uses stuff on the quizzes that are from the purple book. So don't miss class is another thing. And of course, you should never skip class, but it's especially important for calculus because every concept or everything that you hear from class, yes, you can look it up later, but like you're going to have the opportunity to ask questions to Mr. Comparativo, and it's just a bad idea to miss class. They're important classes. It's like missing chemistry. You don't want to miss chemistry. This is like even more. So, don't loaf. This is more and more applicable the closer you get to the test, because in fourth quarter of senior year, nobody's really doing school anymore, you're probably not even doing the rest of your class except for your AP classes. So for everyone who's not about to take AP classes at the beginning of May, it's like it's already the end of the year and they're all having fun, and it's hard to stay focused when everyone else isn't focused. But this is especially important. This is the most important time of the year, is right before the AP test, and you need to be taking practice tests if you can, or at least quizzing yourself in like multiple choice sections that are like timed and stuff, or doing free responses without looking and timing yourself, just so that you can build up your confidence and build up how much you're used to the test, so that when you take it, you'll be ready. To calculate y, the volume around the y-axis, draw out the graph so that you can visualize it, the way that it's going to rotate around the y-axis. Then set your x's equal to y so that you can solve for x. Set them equal to each other to find your intersection points. Then draw out your integral, rx squared minus lowercase rx squared. Plug in each side. The longer equation is the rx and the smaller equation is the little rx. Don't forget pi. Very important. Then integrate your equation so that you have r3 over 3 minus r5 over 5. Plug in You're 1 and 0 to get 2 pi over 15.